One more minute. A very good afternoon to everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you all to another episode of Futuristic Education, a web series dedicated to education. An Edudevs initiative in association with Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham to enlighten and empower the education community in the education trends for future. These are a web series where we bring together the edu leaders and experts from various domains to voice their opinion and pertinent views on the 21st century education. These are city-based web series, and today's city happens to be Meerut. Today, we'll be deliberating on one of the most pertinent issues. It is important to parents, it is important to students, it is important to schools and educators. Yes, the pertinent decision in the life of every student, career decisions. पढ़ लो वरना करियर मतलब का करियर नहीं मिलेगा. You often hear parents talking about this. While the small pool of careers a few decades back has today expanded to encompass numerous new age careers in a myriad of different fields, with so many options, increases the confusion also of picking and excelling in a career of one's own choice. The definition of making the choice when it comes to careers is still jumbled, with elements like peer and societal pressures, the parental pressure, the rigor of university admission processes, what skills to be honed, and what requirements, adding to this mix of decision-making factors. It's a Herculean task. What might a good career decision process look like? How to anticipate the hurdles which are bound to show up in the face of adversity? How to build the right kind of skills that are needed by every industry looking for out-of-the-box thinking. The complexities in choosing the career are increasing as we have more career options, as we have a richer menu on the platter, the confusions keep rising. Hence, today's discussion will touch upon what students can do and how can they prepare to catapult their career trajectories towards success, while also contributing to the responsibilities of future global citizens. And now, let me come to my most favorite section, that is introducing my esteemed panel. And we have a very, very esteemed panel of today with Ms. Sangeeta Kashyap, Principal of Radha Govind Public School, Meerut. With an MSc in biochemistry, Mrs. Kashyap has over 30 wonderful years of teaching experience. We are glad to have you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
We are delighted to have with us young and dynamic Mr. Shubham Tomar, career counselor from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. We shall be very excited to hear you out, Mr. Shubham. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, ma'am.
I extend my warm welcome to Mrs. Harjinder Kaur, Principal of Meerut Public School for Girls. Mrs. Kaur again is a seasoned academician who has over 26 years of rich and varied experience in teaching and school administration. Welcome you, ma'am. And we have with us Miss Riya Vasan, a student of class 11 from DAV Public School, Gurgaon. She will be answering many questions. She will be throwing light on the student perspective. A big thank you to all of you to sparing your time and joining the discussion today. Thank you so much. Moving on to our ice-breaking question, which will be in the order of Ms. Sangeeta Kashyap, then Mr. Shubham Tomar. After that, Ms. Harjinder Kaur, and last we will take Ms. Riya's perspective. So when it comes to career, people may not realize that they are in complete control. They actually know everything, from what one wants to become, to how they are going to do it, to when they have to join coachings or when will it happen. Yet, due to societal norms and a frozen set of steps leading to career building, students feel trapped into putting rigid timelines they are not comfortable with, leading to stress and a path which might not be the spotlight for their own interests. And most of the time, not being able to achieve these careers, often we hear of situations when students take some critical steps. So my question to you all is, how can one cultivate the mindset of my career, my perseverance, my success, along with the my life thing, instead of following the herd mentality of the rest of the society? Yes, Ms. Sangeeta.
Very good afternoon, ma'am, and all the extreme participants, Kaur ma'am, Shubham sir, and dear Riya. I extend my gratitude to each one of you for attending this webisode and showing your presence over here. See, this is a present day biggest problem, that most of the time students are not aware about their potential, what they actually desire, and they are just carried away by parents, by peer group. Science liya hai, medical mein jana hai, ya engineering mein jana hai. But the same student has opted for painting also. He may be a good fashion designer. He may be a good designer of automobile engineering or aeronautical engineering, or towards music also. But that option, no one is thinking about. Basically, we have to train our students in such a manner that they should know their potential. They should work with passion to achieve what they actually want to that. If they will do that work with perseverance, with passion, with dedication, success will automatically follow that. Only thing which is required is timely recognition of their potential. I have seen many candidates who cleared IIT, who cleared MBBS, and after that they appeared in IAS examination and moved towards administration, leaving their passion, their professional qualification, where they spent 7 years in medical profession and 5 to 6 years in engineering. So that is the need of time, where we should show all the options to our students. If they are opting this subject, this is the future perspective, and they should identify their potential, their liking, their disliking, and accordingly they should work.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. Shubham. What do you have to say on building the right kind of mindset? Because the story begins from there.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. It is my pleasure to be a part of this episode. So, as ma'am said, this is one of the major issues coming in this in mindset of the students, that they follow the crowd, they follow the different mentality of other students. So here, I'd like to add just one thing: like, if a student is having a goal, right? If student is having a dream in their mind, if they want to see themselves in some particular position, like somewhere in life, so they need to just come out of that following thing. They don't need to be a follower at that point of time. They need to chase their career, they need to chase their dream. And if they are chasing their dream, so they'll not follow the mindset of the other students, and they'll just stand out from all the other students. So that is what I want to say, ma'am.
Great. So I think, yes, brief and crisp, that they need to, either you have a passion, you have a dream, you work towards it, but sometimes when it doesn't fulfill, you need to keep a backup plan.
Backup plan,
You
yes.
need to am I right, Shubham? Is it that
Yes,
what
ma'am.
you want? Great.
Yes,
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think very simple and very right advice that you have given to the our participants, the viewers. All right, over to you, Ms. Kaur. What is your take on this, and what advice would you give to our students who are listening to this discussion today?
Yes, a very good evening to everyone present here. It's a very, very a wonderful topic, very apt for the students in the present scenario, because we know that the entire, the perspective of the career options, it has changed drastically. So we know our past and we know the current situation, they are completely different. Of course, I fully agree with Mrs. Sangeeta Kashyap, and of course the child Shubham Tomar. Yeah, of course, it's very important for every child to to have a sense of what is it that the child values. That's very important to understand. What is my strength and what do I value? So first of all, as a student, it's very important to know the strength, self-awareness, my strength and what do I value, and what are those few words that I would want to be known by also, because that really decides on the careers. What are my skills, what are my what kind of value system I hold, and what are my strengths. So when these things are known to the students, these are the basic options which a child should be thinking about. And as parents, as teachers, it's very important that we inculcate that, inculcate situations like basic situations like, having a growth mindset, these skills, having a growth mindset, not to fear failures. Like, this is so very important in a student's life, to keep ourselves physically healthy. That's very important, because that's what advances a student in one's career. So these are some basic skills. We are just, since this is just the beginning, I'm talking about these basic skills that a student has to have to know oneself. I have to keep myself fit. I have to know my skills. I have to know my strengths. I have to know what I value, what my teachers have. Of course, teachers and parents have always been mentoring them. So what is the value system that I should hold in the scenario that I will be at? So if such things are known to the student, then somewhere it becomes easier for the student to cultivate that mindset that we're talking about, cultivating that mindset of career. What kind of career I'm going to choose? What kind of success am I thinking about? Because if I go to this particular career, because this is my strength, I'll do well. So knowing this is extremely important.
Great, great. Thank you so much. Very aptly said, strength, value, skill, blended with a growth mindset. Is it I can or is it I can't? Is it the fight or is it the flight? So you need to inculcate as teachers, as parents, as adults, we need to inculcate the growth mindset, which has been told to us by Ms. Arjindra Kaur. Thank you so much, ma'am. We also have with us a student of class 11. Let us just ask her that, Ms. Ria, what would you say? Is it that, and I really want this to be more from your personal experience, how do you view it? Do you have your own path, a trajectory, a roadmap, or are you governed by the mindset of your friends or of your, or whoever tells you what to do? Yes, Ria.
First of all, thank you for having me here. It's a rare opportunity that I've got. Secondly, I think that the other views that were presented were really great and so truthful, and also. So my views are that knowing yourself is the most important thing in everything. So before choosing a career, I should know my skills, my weaknesses, and most importantly, what I want to be in the long term. So being a PCM student, the most common comment I get is that you want to go in engineering. But honestly, I don't want to. Maybe I don't want to go in IIT just because everyone's going there. I want to choose the different path, the new path, probably make my way out. I probably want to go become a pilot, or I want to start my own business. So I think this is something that people don't generally consider. They just consider that you've taken science and now you've taken non-medical, so you're gonna go in IIT. But I don't want to go there. So I should really know what my choice is, my opinion is.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm very happy that today's student is very well aware that even I have opted for science doesn't mean that I want to pursue IIT or competitive exam. And it's a very out of the box thinking. I'm very happy that you want to choose your career and become a pilot. Great. Thank you so much, Ria. And I shall come back to you again. Thank you everyone for this section. Moving on to our next section, and my question is to Ms. Sangeeta Kashyap. Ma'am, often in a sea of peers in the same field, one can feel like, a small fish in an ever-growing pond. The key here is to begin to differentiate yourself from the pack. Yes. Right? So this can be done by, as ma'am was discussing, knowing what you offer, what you have, identifying. In the previous section, we were discussing about identifying your own self. And often students use vague terms and describe catchy phrases to describe their skills, qualities. And sometimes, if you see the social media, there are so many skill development courses at the same time running about embrace your forte. We are also running a number of courses about skill. It's like, it's become like a kind of a bazaar where you are just amassing your certificates. So here we're talking about real skill, and I'll be wanting you to throw light upon is what is the importance of knowing one skill, and how much time a student of class 11 and 12, knowing that he has to appear for competitive exams and other things as well, should spend in developing that skill development. And third is, when should it start? Since when should this child start working on skill development, which will help them in their path of choosing the right career?
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I would like to just say a few things. Knowledge is basically theoretical and practical information and facts, but skill is an ability to do something which we want to acquire through experience and through learning. When we are talking about present scenario, right now world is facing two challenges. One, world is shifting from an industrial economy to knowledge-based economy. So previously, when the obedient workers were there, which are reporting on time, whatever time and task assigned to them, they are doing that. And then they are, without asking any question, without having any suggestion, they leave. But nowadays, situation is that we are requiring self-directed workers. And right now, we are raising a generation which is brought up with the internet, which is very differently motivated to learn and accustomed to instant gratification, use of the web for extending friendship, self-directed learning, constantly connected, creative, multitasking in multimedia world, and so on in everywhere, but except in schools. In school, their work and function somewhere is, you can say, not so productive. According to Harvard's Gardner's theory, we all are able to know the world through language, logical mathematical analysis, spatial representation, musical thinking, the use of the body to solve problems or to make things, and understanding of other individuals, values, and the most important, understanding of ourselves. Here, you have asked one question, that how and at what level we should know that what is the inclination of a child. So here I would like to say, every student is having different mindset to learn, remember, perform, and understand. And for that, we have categorized them as visual learner, who see, draw any diagram, see, analyze the thing. Auditory learner, which are just by listening, they are performing well. Then we are having kinesthetic learner, who are performing with their fine motor skills, and they are showing their way. Then oratory skill, reading skill, writing skill, logical mind, analytical mindset, social learner, which are doing it along with the peer group. There are certain solitary learner also, and natural learner, which are learning along with the nature. So these are the 8 kind of different ways of learning which a child is going through right from the beginning till the end of his school life. Here, as a teacher, we are more responsible to identify the way the child is learning all these things. Besides that, there are life skills which are helping a child to perform well in different parts. That includes the most important one, as ma'am also said, that is self-awareness. This is the task which I can do very well. This is the task where I need to perform extra labor to come up to the standard. Right. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? That need to be identified. Then a child should be able to do effective communication. Whatever he want to show or represent to other, it should be done in an effective manner. If we are conveying anything in a halfway, it may be misinterpreted. Critical thinking, if suppose any myth is going on, कि आप झाड़ फूक करा लो, बच्चे के 95% आ जाएंगे. But child should be able to know that कि यहाँ पे झाड़ फूक से नहीं आएंगे. I have to devote extra hours to achieve those 95%.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I will pass the same question now to Mr. Shubham Tomar. Shubham, will you throw light on the skills? And what are the skills And I know that you've been taking a lot of counseling sessions. So, and when should this skill development begin? I know, of course, it should begin right from the earliest stage, but per se, which will help him pursue the career of his choice. Yes, Shubham.
Uh, so, ma'am, as Sangeeta ma'am has already covered almost all the points in this, even she has talked about the learning style as well. So, I'll just like to add one thing that, like, I'm taking counseling sessions for students, right? So, the thing is, like, students are not aware about the skill set required to choose a particular stream, right? So, it is very important for oneself to understand that the importance of the skills, like it is really important to know your skills. Why? Because everyone is having a different skill set, right? Everyone is having a different talent in himself or herself. So it is very important to find out that talent, that skill. And how you can do that is, I can give you like few tips to the students that how can you do that is basically.
Shubham, we have a lot of students. There are nearly 100 participants,
Okay.
and we would like you to please throw some light on the counseling and a little bit if you could give them these tips. I will be very happy.
Yes, ma'am. So, like students are like they usually ask this question: that how to identify our skill set, how to identify our talent. So basically, what we generally say is, first you need to see what you are good at, right? And then which is the one thing would you like to do, like when you are free, like during your free time, what would you like to do, right? And then basically it is not like just like about your interest, it is about proving yourself as well. If you are saying that you are interested in particular field, if you are good at particular work, so you need to prove yourself, right? And how will you prove yourself? You need to participate in competitions, right? If you'll participate in competitions, if you are scoring good, or your result is good, so that means that area is particularly for you and you are right on your path. So you have like identified your skills, and in this way you can just move forward.
Great. Thank you so much, Shubham. And I'm sure our viewers will take this handy advice. And we said that, you need to first identify what you are good at. Once you've identified what you're good at, just don't rest with that. Try and participate, try and use that talent. So one of the ways is either you join a course, or you probably take part in competitions. And once you are creating something through a course or project, once your scores are good, I'm sure it is indicative of that what is it that it was indicative of that this is your area of interest, and you will automatically hone your skills. So this was what we were talking about, skills. I'll take a break here and I'll ask, because Ria has some questions to ask the panelists. Ria, would you like to ask one question to one of the panelists?
Sure, ma'am. Well, as Shubham sir rightly said that we should know our skills, and he told us how to identify them. But the most important question that always comes to my mind is that how can I be sure that this is the skill I'm good at? Like how, like the road not taken. So the path that I've not chosen or the skill that I've selected always comes in my mind. So how do I ensure that I'm on the right path?
This question is for whom? Miss Ria?
Mr. Shubham.
Okay.
Okay, Shubham.
Okay. See, I have already mentioned this thing while I was talking about the skills, that once you have identified your skills, right? How you, like, as you asked, like how you are going to say that like this was the right path and I was right about this skill and this is my skill set, right? So for that matter, you need to participate in competitions and see where you are giving less efforts and getting more result. That means that you are good in this thing and you can pursue your career in this thing. So I'll just suggest you to participate in different competitions related to that particular field and stream.
Ma'am, I want to add one thing to this.
Please go ahead, ma'am. It's a discussion. Please do that. Thank you.
Ria, this is one of my experience and suggestion also. Suppose in class 11th or 12th, you are having 6 subject and your 5th or 6th subject, one is music or painting or even psychology. And you love to draw, you love to paint. And any task which you find, which gives you happiness, if you try to find out what are the further professional aspects of that subject, it will be automatically driving you towards that particular profession and you will be happy. Suppose I am just giving one more example also. In our school, there was a child whose father was doing business of scrap. After being in 12th, he said, I'll start my own business. He went to Chennai, where he gets knowledge and diploma about e-waste segregation. See, it was the family business, but he himself directed towards e-waste management. And in Meerut only, he is running a factory where they are collecting e-waste from different places and they are utilizing it for different purpose. So with your family business, with your inclination towards one side, you can go that way. Suppose if you are having painting, you can go for National Institute of Fashion Designing. You can go to NIFT also, to NID also, Designing Institute. There are shoemaking industries also, there are cloth making also, textile designing also. So that way, once you develop a liking for a particular subject, then automatically you will find the different branches and then you can go ahead with that. So anything which you do with liking, with passion, with your own interest, automatically you will progress in that. But only thing is, you should know what are the future prospects of that particular subject which you want to opt for.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I hope, Ria, our panelists have managed to satiate your query.
Yes, ma'am, it was a very insightful answer.
Thank you so much. My next question is to Ms. Harjinder Kaur.
Yes.
Ma'am, according to research, peer pressure is one of the biggest factors which is seen as potent force that can, significantly impact the decision making of career decisions in the youth life. Other studies, sometimes they respond that peers may influence their kind through social comparisons, or they generate that kind of buzz around a particular career. So to what extent do peer groups influence the choice of careers among students? And is such influence positive or negative for the growth? Because there are studies which say that peer learnings is a very, very, important aspect of growth in a student's life. So, ma'am, you're a principal, so please throw light on this.
Yes, ma'am. Before I talk about peer, the question that you've raised, I would also like to add something to the previous question, which was previous point which was being discussed. That is, on the skill set. How do we know that we possess so and so skill? I think as teachers and parents, it is very important that right from childhood, children actually require a reassurance. Suppose they're doing something good, what they require is a reassurance, somebody to tell them, yes, they have done good. And as they grow up, they need to have somebody, some mentor who's going to give them the feedback. So, of course, a genuine mentor who can give the right feedback so that the student continues to get that reassurance. Because when we tell a child you're good at this, that stays in the mind of the child as the child grows up. And this is also one factor that decides one career. Because later on, maybe the child discovers one's own potential, but maybe because of how the child has grown up to be or what has been inculcated in the mind of the child knows that I'm good at it. So this is the skill that I have, and maybe this skill can work towards my profession. So this is also one factor in addition to what everybody has said. It was wonderfully put across. And of course, this also I just wanted to add. And another factor is that the 21st century skills that we talk about, as teachers and as principal, it is our responsibility to ensure that these 21st century skills that we talk about, decision making, which is a very, very important skill that children, especially Indian students, should actually inculcate, because they're not allowed to take decision even after their marriage many a times. So decision making, problem solving, and of course the communication skills children do develop, but problem solving, decision making, and creative thinking and critical thinking, there I think we need to embed this in every part of the curriculum that is taken up in school. So that is what, because and the teachers, we as teachers, we have to ensure that we we make the child aware that this concept is going to develop this skill. So that's going to really work for the child also. And at the end of the school life, when the child is out in the bigger world, the child knows that this is the skill that I developed through so-and-so activities, that exposure which was given to me in the school. So the child knows that self-awareness is there. Yeah, these are the skills that I have now, I possess. So a very important role from the point of view of teachers, and in fact, the entire school's environment.
Ma'am, I just want to comment here, because in front of me, why I want to bring this to you is that there is a comment in the chat box, and that is also a question. So I thought let that question be addressed right at this point of time. And this is by Miss Manjula Nagaraj, sorry, Miss Manjula Nagaraj. And she says that sometimes if a child is good in many skills, still he will be confused to categorize according to priority. What to do in such case? And kindly answer. Then she also says, sometimes child is not so good in any skill. Then also, ma'am, what to do? So, ma'am, if you could also answer this query, it will be very nice.
So this is where, here when as the child grows up, we must understand how the child's mind also works. The child should, the growth mindset that we talk about, the how the brain wiring, actually is working. And there we can help our own child understand oneself, because only the child will slowly understand as to what is one good at. Of course, we are letting him know, we're giving the feedback as to this is where you're good at. And we have seen through certain activities, we've seen through certain exposures that was given to the child. And it is, of course, at the end of the school life, it is the child who is going to understand oneself, the parents, the child, and of course, whatever the school has given. So I know there are several skills. Now, prioritizing that skill by the child is, there are certain counselors who are available. There are counseling sessions wherein such kind of sessions are held. The priorities can be decided on those. So there are professional counselors who can help out in this in case there is a confusion. Yeah. So
now if you could tell us about the peer pressure.
Yeah, the peer pressure, see, it's very, very important to have peer. There are many parents who discourage having friends around because so-and-so is like that, so-and-so is like that. First of all, it's very important that that non-judgmental should be, that concept of non-judgmental should be there. Let's look at everyone. Let's observe everyone. Let's learn the good from whosoever is good, and let's just shirk away whatever is not good. So if the parent starts, the parents begin with this, what the child does is the child's observation becomes stronger and goes home and discusses that so-and-so is this way. So there is a kind of, the parent can guide the child when the child is small. But yes, as the children grow, it is very important that they have a peer, because, but that peer should be a mentoring peer. Sometimes we get mentored from each other. what is the kind of talk that one is doing, or what the parent can also see that my child is learning so and so when one goes to school, when he's going to school, he or she is going to school and coming back. So as long as it's healthy, so sometimes that small pressure may be peer pressure, maybe because or maybe present there, but because the child is actually going in on the right track, so it's okay. Whereas there are cases where peer pressure just lands up at something which is not acceptable at home as well as in school, and therein where a counselor's help is definitely required, because sometimes parents don't even get to know as to whether it is peer pressure or something else, because the child may not be able to speak whatever he or she is undergoing. So I think the counselor's role is extremely important at this point of time.
Thank you so much. So what Ms. Arjinder Kaur says is that it is important to have peer association is a very healthy part of the growth. Parents
Yes.
should not discourage, but at the same time, they need to monitor what kind of peer my child is having, whether, because it's not necessary we can talk about peer mentoring, because they are all at the same stage, at the same level, and often birds of the same flock together. What happens is that when your child, the kind of child you have, he'll have the similar kind of students as this. Parents should not brand, number one, the students, and second is it is important that they need to be aware of what is the company that the child is keeping around. Here again, I would like, Ria, if you could ask one question to whichever panelist you want to address, what question you have, any query. Yes, Ria.
So Ms. Kaur rightly talked about peer and handling peer pressure. But I think the most important question that every child faces today is that they all face peer pressure. In the real world, everyone at some time faces it. But how do you handle it? Because sometimes going to the teachers or telling the parents worsens it.
Yes, I think it's a very, very important question. I think what we are talking is theory. And Ria has just brought in the practical situation that whether you like it or you don't like it, the peer pressure is there. Peer pressure is not by choice. Peer pressure is just there. And sometimes the child doesn't even know how to handle it. So in that, what is the advice, very quickly, ma'am, very quickly, if you could give?
Yes, so it could be, suppose one is under peer pressure. See, there are two things. One is the child's realization and one is the parent realizing that my child is not going in the right direction. If the child has realized, I think it becomes a lot easier for the child to understand that, yeah, I need to take a step backward, or I need to rethink on my association with the peer. So, but when it is a parent who realizes, and the parent may or may not have observed it in the right perspective. So in that case, you see, it's very situational, it differs. I know there are several situations of this kind. There are different kinds of situations. So the first thing one would do is to have an observation. As a mother, I should be very observant about my child. What I must observe the day right from morning without actually nagging the child. Because when a child is nagged, there is where it gets spoiled. And very quietly, very subtly, I should be observant. And maybe in case there's any issue, I'll talk to my child. That communication actually between the child and the parent, that will really, really help. And also for parents, it's extremely important to meet the friends of, not after this peer pressure, I'm talking in general, meet their friends, greet them, bring them home, talk to them, and be one of them. Because normally what parents have a tendency of pulling the children rather than the parent being moving towards the child. I think for us parents, it's very important that we move forward rather than bringing the children backward, and understand their times rather than we enforcing our times on them. So this will actually smoothen out situations a lot.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this. Now to Sangeeta ma'am, as we are also running short of time, to Sangeeta ma'am, I just want to ask you that, and then I'll come to Shubham with the thing, that we are talking about Catapult Your Career. So as a school, what are those 4 to 5 things that you're doing for your students to make the right and informed choices when it comes to career, choosing their career right from grade 10? So if you could just list them to us, what are those 4 to 5 things that you as a school do when the child comes in class 10th? Maybe that could be an answer to so many other schools. It will help the students who are watching our programs today. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, for this, when students are in class 9th and 10th, we are organizing career counseling sessions for them, because in class 11, they need to opt a particular subject as per their liking, disliking, maybe sometimes from the pressure from the parents, because they desire to do that their what should be a doctor, engineer, or in a physiotherapy, or in some other profession that way. So that we are doing at the level of class 9th and 10th. Then we are conducting various activities where child, they are showing their skills, maybe orating skill, maybe their painting, drawing, because when we are conducting special assemblies and a group of students from a particular class, they are working on that, we are ensuring that every child should come up with some activity during that portion of the 1 week, so that whatever is hidden inside, whatever is hesitation they are having, they should come out of that. And that way, somewhere we are also getting a chance that child is very good in orating skill. And I would like to quote one example. Sometimes initially child may think that he or she is very good in sports. I'll quote one example. One child was there who was very good in cricket as per him, but that playing cricket was not much more materialized, but he has keen passion for cricket and he was watching every cricket match, but he has very good orating skills. And later on, he became a famous commentator, Harsha Bogle, and he opted that commenting on cricket matches as his profession. Wow. This is one of them. Similarly, somewhere we have to show empathy, we have to show love. And in my previous question that Ria was asking, there is a factor of trust also. There we should show trust on students, and students, they should also show trust on the teachers as well as parents, so that whenever they are facing any dwindling stage, where they are having any dilemma, where they are having any confusion, they should get it clarified from any of the reliable resources according to them. Maybe a teacher, maybe an elder brother, sister, or parents. And that way, whatever they used to like, that particular streams they are opting, and we are giving them options for particular subjects, and then they are going further ahead with that. Sometimes we are counseling parents also, because sometimes it is a desire of the parent that like my child should go for science stream, otherwise बाकी रिश्तेदार क्या कहेंगे कि इसने तो ह्यूमैनिटीज ले ली. ह्यूमैनिटीज तो बिल्कुल जो कमजोर बच्चे हैं उनकी बात है. तब उनको भी समझाना पड़ता है कि अगर कोई बच्चा लॉयर बनना चाहता है, उसके लिए ओरेटिंग स्किल्स, राइटिंग स्किल्स, और ह्यूमैनिटीज की ब्रांच विल बी मच मोर comfortable to compete in future. So that way we are guiding students and their parents right from class 9 to 10th level to help them in choosing their career according to their liking, according to the wish of the students.
Great, lovely insights, ma'am. I'm sure you're doing a lot for your students, and very rightly said that right from class 9 and 10, what are the steps? You're providing them with the activities. You're also talking to parents. This also brings, yes, in the chat box, we have people clapping for you. Thank you. So this brings us to another question, which is again addressed to, I think I'll address it to all three of you. And I'll start with Shubham, that the role, honestly speaking, the role of parents in a child's journey of choosing his career is extremely important. Important in terms that sometimes they are the facilitators, sometimes they guide and encourage the child, but sometimes parents also thrust upon their decisions, their unfulfilled desires, and they feel that this will be more, of course, in good faith, that this will be the best path for my child. So, Shubham, you've been a part of many of these career counseling sessions with parents as well. How crucial is the role of parents at this turning point in students' careers, especially class 11th onwards? And what role should parents play at this point of time?
Yes, ma'am. Like we have organized a lot of career counseling sessions. So there we have just observed that the role of the parents and the teachers as well. Parents and teachers' roles are very much important for the career, for the journey of the students. Why? Because teachers are taking care of the students like throughout the school time. Like for 8 hours or 10 hours, students are in the school and their teachers are taking care of the students. Then while they are coming back to home, then the parents are taking care of the students. So the thing is, like, it is very important for the parents to just motivate the student in all the possible conditions. If the student is discouraged or student is confused about anything, they should always motivate the students and they should always guide the students. Why? Because they are the role model of the students. No? So the way the parents are just handling the students, the way the parents are showing empathy, the way parents are telling the things to them, so it creates a lot of impact in students' life, right? So careers are changing. Students are not much aware about the different career opportunities nowadays. So parents should just explain them, tell them that yes, these are the career opportunities after 12, even at the class when they are in 9th or 10th. Parents or teachers should tell them that these are the career opportunities if you are pursuing for commerce, humanities, science, so that after that you can go for the particular streams, BCom, BA, like engineering, anything. And after doing the graduation, what is the possible like work profile you are going to have, like in which domain you are going to work. So if we are telling the students about all these things, so they can have a clear mindset that yes, I want to go to this particular domain, this particular field. So it can just help the student to just choose a particular career. And about the role play, as I've already told you that in my opinion, it is like the parents' role is very, very much important in a children's journey, in a child's journey.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. Sangeeta, ma'am, what do you have to say on this? Because you meet so many parents and you interact with them, and at times you would, I'm sure, be counseling parents कि अरे बच्चे को छोड़ दो आप, let the child take his own decisions. So आप बताइए, what is your experience in this?
मैम कई बार होता है कि पेरेंट्स जो अपने हिडन एस्पिरेशंस थे, जो नॉन फ्रूटफुल एस्पिरेशंस थे, दैट दे आर ट्राइंग टू गेट entrusted on their students, on their wards. So as a principal, agar bache mein like I'm just quoting one example, if a child is getting very less marks in mathematics or in science, and if a parent is insisting to give him or her the same subject, definitely the duration which child will devote to study physics, chemistry, bio, maths for class 11, and that was much more in comparison to the one which he or she may be utilized for preparing for either commerce or for humanities. And moreover, these things we need to tell to parents also. We have to show them other professional aspects also for other streams, and that way we have to convince them. And most important thing, there should be factor trust and faith between school and parents, as well as from between parents and child also. They should give a listening ear to their word, what the child is actually want. Sometimes it happens that child is so much confused because of peer group, because of the environment where he or she is growing. Sometimes maybe not, you can say, devoting her full potential for that particular subject. So though he may be good in particular subject, but not knowing that he is good because he is not devoting that much time to study that subject. And later on, when he is devoting time, I saw various students also who scored just 50 to 60% in class 10. They scored 75 to 80% in class 12, and they topped university when they got subject of their choice. And that way there is a upcline for their performance graph. So that all depends, that is self-realization by the student. At the same time, parents, they should also show trust and faith on their word, and whatever are the drawbacks or laxity, as a parent, as a teacher, we should work together for betterment of the student.
Very well said, that it has to be a lot of trust between the parents and the teacher, between the child and the parent. So collaboratively, when there is that element of trust, then I'm sure the child is easily able to speak and interact to either of the adults. And Ria, what is your experience on this? How are things with you? Do your parents, like, who is the decision-making authority? Do they give you a free will, or do they guide you, or do they probably ask you that, no, you have to follow this because we feel this will help you earn a better pay package?
Oh, luckily, my parents are a mix of all of them. They don't let me go blind and do anything I want. But they let me put forward my opinion. For example, if I want to do something, I'll put it in front of them. If they think that yes, it's correct and it would really help me, they'll let me do it. They'll be open towards it. For example, I'm interning here. So my father daily drops me, picks me up, and if in case I, forgot something, and then he helps me out. My mother also allowed me to come here. So that's one thing. And the other is that I think they're also guiding me side by side. I'm really confused at times. I don't know what I have to choose, For example, the major decision I took recently was to choose my stream. I was really confused. It was like a major decision of my life. So they didn't force it on me which stream I have to take, but they, helped me decide by putting out all the options that I have. I think my mother believes that she never knew all the options she had, so she made sure that I knew everything before I made my decision.
Great. I think that's what it is, that your parents are very supportive in, and definitely they do have a opinion of their own because they understand what. So now, Shubham, could you please, now there are many students, and could you very quickly, since this episode is about Catapult Your Career, could you just throw some light on careers which the students can explore, and anything you want to share, because this is the last segment. Similarly, I would ask the other two principal panelists also to share their last statements with our audience. So Shubham, from you, basically, I would like tips for our students.
Ma'am, tips, basically, we have been talking about the skills only, because it is very much important and needed to find like their best suited career. And the second thing I will suggest, if there is in the schools, they are having there are counselors are available in the schools, right? So you can talk to the school counselors about that, and there are a few psychometric tests are also available for the career guidance, right? So you can just give a career counseling test, psychometric test, to know about your strengths and weaknesses in particular area and in particular field and domain. So that can be really helpful for the students.
Great. Thank you so much. Very important, right in class 9 and 10. take the aptitude test. After that, take the psychometric test. Once you've done your aptitude test, the areas open up to you. But then you also need to take the psychometric test. That is your mind able to take up? Is there enough grit and resilience to carry on that particular, task? Yes, ma'am. Harjinder ma'am, what is your last statement over this before I ask some of some of our audience have raised their hands and they want to share their opinions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. As far as careers are concerned, I think, yes, choosing a career option is very, very important. And of course, teachers' role, parents' role, they are all equally important in this. And last but not the least, it's a child who's very important. I really like the statement of Ria when she said, like, the way she went about with her choices and how her parents helped her. And that's in fact, that's a way that it should be, it should go ahead, because ultimately it's the student's choice which should be held uppermost. I think because ultimately it's they who are going to lead the career and go in for it. Whatever be the career, what my last statement would be, like, whatever career one chooses, there are some basic skills in every career, whether they were old-time careers or the new age career. Very important skills are there, and those skills actually develop right from the childhood. And of course, in the presence of parents, that is, the parents inculcate those, the teachers inculcate, the schools inculcate, the peers inculcate, and of course, it's the child's mind as to how the child thinks. And those are very basic, and they are taught from childhood. They are taken for granted when the children are at this age. But yes, when they move towards the career and they are into that, they are a part of it, they realize how important they are. And those are, like, always it's very important to not to be afraid to fail. We keep teaching our children, don't be scared of failing, because failures are building blocks, and you must have a relationship with failure. Because my relationship with failure, I'm just talking in general. My relationship with failure, I'm going to learn a lesson. So this failure has happened. What is the lesson learned? And next time this will not happen. This is what I will not do. Then the growth mindset, which is very, very important. Wherever you land up, whichever career you land up, that growth mindset, every day I'm going to improve by 1%. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be a lifelong learner. So this is really going to help catapult. It's going to catapult your career. And then take risks, because taking risk means you are in a difficult situation. You are in a difficult situation. And whenever we come out of difficult situation, there is a greater and higher amount of and a better kind of learning that happens. So never fear taking risks. So taking risks is very important. And then understanding resistance, because whatever we do at our workplace, there will be resistances. We need to identify those resistance, talk about it, because when we talk about resistance, the resistance becomes weakened. It weakens. So it's very important that we understand resistance. And the last but not the least is that we need to keep ourselves physically healthy, because only if we are physically healthy will we be mentally healthy, and we can contribute to wherever we are in whatever career we are. So let's catapult our careers with these basic concepts, which are very, very important, and inculcate this right from the school life. This is what
very well said. To catapult your career, you need to have the growth mindset. You need to have the right kind of skills. You need to have grit and resilience. And finally, you need to be ready to take risks, because it's not necessary that what you've decided, what path you have decided to move on will be the one which will happen. So you must have your backup plans ready. And Harjinder ma'am, what would your last statement be?
Sangeeta ma'am.
Sorry, Sangeeta ma'am.
Ma'am, Harjinder ma'am has covered very good points, which I just want to sum up. Before going for any career, I suggest every child or every student to imagine himself or herself in whatever profession he or she want to be after 5 years or 7 years.
Visualize
And
it.
then work hard for achieving all those skills which ma'am has said, like social skills, also interacting, personal skills, decision making skills, enhancing your performance each day, learn from your mistakes, and then achieve the goal. But first of all, you have to decide that what you will be after 5 to 7 years at this time. That
Thank
is
you
my
so much.
suggestion to all the students.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Very well said. And I would like to build upon this, that once you first is your visualization. Once you visualize that where do you want to be 5 years down the line, then you need to start setting goals, which will be short-term goals and your long-term goals. Once you set your goals, then what is the necessary skill that is required to get nearer to that goal? And that means you need to work every day 2 hours, 3 hours, or probably an hour on that particular skill set. Set your habits right. Habits are very important, that you need to give up on or lessen, reduce your social media time or TV time. You need to get up early. So side by side, visualize, set
Disciplining.
the goal, and start working towards it. When you're working towards it, two things come in hand: your skill and your habits. Skill is something which you will be working towards your goal, and habit is going to push you towards your goal. So we come to the end of this session. This program was sponsored by Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham University. With that, we have arrived at the end of a very comprehensive discussion. And I could see till the end, till 5:10 or 5:05, we had full 100 participation. We shed light on some of the most relevant aspects of building career to ascend the less traveled road of hardships and success. We spoke about skills. We spoke about positive mindset, growth mindset. We spoke about values. In addition to this fruitful discussion, the one thing which is most important to remember is that the difference between dreams and reality is your action. The way one acts and the will with which one acts contributes towards a great career. We are grateful to all of you for having spared this time and being part of this discussion. We shall see you more on many other platforms. Thank you so much. Please stay tuned to more such collaborative initiatives between Edudevs and Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham University. And thank you so much. Over to the managing team, Edudevs.
Thank you so much, Devyani ma'am. Thank you so much to the team for inviting us to this platform where we are able to share it with so many people besides our own students and parents. So thank you so much for inviting us. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Ajinder ma'am. Thank you, Riya. Thank you, Shubham.
The intent was that to bring everybody on the platform where, you know, they can disseminate their knowledge and their experiences with so many people around. Thank you so much for being part of this webinar today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a great session.
Thank you so much, Devyani ma'am. Hope in the coming sessions we can share some more inputs with the audience. Thank you so much.
For sure. We have rolled in a feedback form and we are getting feedback on what is it they want to hear, and we shall curate the sessions around them. Thank you so much. Aishwarya, do we have anything, any audio video for the audience today?
Not now, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. See you in our next episode.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very nice knowing you. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.